at Liberty. I live in Lynchburg. Judge Lynch, that was from Lynchburg. I went there, Gary and I, we lived in Laguna Beach, and we said, you know, it's really hard to be activists in Laguna Beach, where even the sand is gay. So we said, okay, let's move to Lynchburg. And we said to each other, are you serious? Are you serious? Yeah, let's move to Lynchburg. So we moved to Lynchburg. We rented a place right across the street from his church, Thomas Road Baptist Church. And every time the doors opened, we went. We asked to be members, they wouldn't let us. But by asking to be members, they had to go through all this, peregrinations. What do we do? He acts like a Christian, and we're telling him he can't belong, but yeah, you can't. Well, we can't. Okay. So then we would stand up silently every time he preached against gay people, and we'd just stand up. And when he'd stop talking, we'd sit back down again. And then we'd put big signs. Gay members of Thomas Road Baptist are always welcome here. That kills them. We have no gay members! Yeah, look at your choir carefully. Seriously, what a joke, we have no gay members. Gay members, my former wife, who I love and is my best friend now, except for Gary, she was director of developments at Grace Cathedral in San Francisco. They call it Canon of Development. She told me one day, without you gay guys, there'd be no cathedrals left in this country. Because you like smells and bells more than anybody else. To say that, we're not in the church, my gosh, it's so sad. Anyway, it was really funny because one day, Jerry called me and said, are you going to keep doing this? What, Jerry? Standing up and protesting in the middle of my sermons. Yes. Well, how long? Until you change your speech about gay people. Speech has power. Words do not fade. What starts as a sound ends as a deed. So he said, okay, what do you want? I said, I want you to hear the stories of all these Southern Baptist churches in America who have studied the issue and who have left the Southern Baptist Convention in opposition to its policies and have become open and accepting about gay people. Did you know that there are a lot of Southern Baptist churches who have done that? They appoint gold ribbon committees. These guys study it for a year and they come out in the church votes and says, we've been wrong. And the Southern Baptist Convention, just had, they just double over in pain because they don't know what to do with these churches. So I said, okay, if you don't tell the media, you can come talk to me. So I went, and here was Jerry and his son Jonathan and his son Jerry Jr. and his lawyers and about 7 or 8 of his entourage. And they said, okay, tell us what you want to hear. Want us to hear. Okay. So I took out the Southern Baptist Studies, one by one. And I made it so clear that this is wrong, that what you're doing is wrong, what you're doing is wrong. And about 2 hours into it, I said, don't you want to talk about this? No, you said you wanted us to hear it. We've heard it. That's the problem with the churches. They don't hear it. They pretend to be hearing it, but they're stuck. The pastor says, well, I know gays are okay, but my congregation couldn't deal with it. The congregation says, I know gays are okay, but our pastor couldn't deal with it. Right? And nobody deals with it. Until somebody in the church, we have what we call, Soulforce has a faithful dissenter program, where you write a little note to your priest or to your pastor, and you put it in the offering and say, I'm not going to give another $1 to support my own oppression until you change these policies. And they're counting the dollars, and they get this note, and you say, what is this? The next thing you know, the pastor, the priest is calling you in so that you can give a witness to the fact that God created you gay and loves you exactly as you were created. And it's so much fun to be a faithful dissenter. At first, Catholic says, I can't put that on the plate. Oh, just try it. Okay. Calls me next. Do you know what? The priest wants to see me now. What am I going to say? Say hello. Let's sit down and say, you're oppressing me with your positions. I'm one of your parishioners. I pay my bills here. It's like American taxpayers, gay taxpayers, lesbian taxpayers, who don't get the 1,047 rights and protections that go with marriage. We can be married now in 6 states in Washington, D.C. Isn't that something?
Yes.
When I started, there was no way to get married. Now Gary and I got married the first day in California, June 18th. We got married, and it was so much fun. At All Saints Episcopal, all the clergy came, you know, and all of them. The most embarrassing moment of my life, though, I'm going to tell you this. I've never told anybody. I'm never going to tell anybody again. I promise you. Because I started crying, and Gary slapped me. Well, so I said I needed that, and the service went on. But oh my gosh, was I embarrassed! I didn't mean that, Gary. Sorry. Anyway, Jerry said after I'd finished, he said, "Now can I ask you a question?" And I said, "Yeah, go ahead." I knew he hadn't heard me. He said, "If I don't tell anybody, will you write my next book? You're the only one who understands me. I'll give you $150,000 to write it." That's the double standard. Amen. They know their organist gay, but that organist is too good to risk. They know their choir master is gay, but they don't want to risk that. So they say gays are horrible, and they have all these gays sitting around them who are virtuous. When are they going to put the reality together with the untruth? Because once that happens, it's all over. So I said, "Jerry, are you asking me to write a book for you? You're out of your mind." He said, "Well, they told me you'd say that, but I wanted to start with the best."